For data breach costs, the story is about Sweetie's Treats. They keep a digital record of its customers' orders and preferences. One day they discovered the system had been hacked and customer data was compromised. Hello friends, Stephen Harrington, Dakota, the diva of insurance, here today with Agency Performance Partners to talk to you about cyber insurance. How do we explain it? How do we encourage our clients to get it? And how to bind coverage. So in this blog, we have quite beefy content, kind of exciting and fun. We break down the different parts of cyber and what options may be available or different parts of the policy that we might want to look at. We also have some tips on how to make those coverages relatable to our clients through stories. What does the binding process look like? And then lastly, how do we overcome the top objections that I've seen for people when we're offering cyber to our clients? What are they saying no to, and how do we help them understand it? So when it comes to cyber, it can be pretty complex, but we have to remember a lot of insurance is complex until we learn more about it and get a better understanding. So cyber liability insurance is here to help businesses navigate the aftermath of cyber incidents, covering a wide range of potential financial losses and helping to mitigate the reputational damage that can follow a cyber breach. That's a whole lot of words to say, hi, it's here to help clients who have some cyber incidents happen. There can be a lot of different types of coverages. Like we said, we're going to break down some of those and kind of look at what we should be looking for. The one thing I can tell you is in the current world we're living in, cyber risk is real. It's happening to more and more clients, and the expenses just keep increasing. It's not getting any cheaper. So the first thing we can look at is data breach coverage or data breach costs. This is something that we can relate to clients by talking about the cost of notifying customers and affected parties. If their information is compromised, we have to let them know, even if it's $1 a person, if 10,000 people are affected or 1,000 people, $1,000 to $10,000. $1 is really low. Probably going to cost more than $1 to notify people out. We then also look at credit monitoring services. It pays for credit card monitoring for those affected by the breach, and public relation efforts. How do we manage the public's perception or restore the business's reputation after a breach happens? So that can all be covered under data breach costs depending on the contract. We also have legal fees and settlements. So legal defense, if the business faces a lawsuit, this insurance helps to cover legal defense costs. Or settlements and judgments that can pay for the judgment if your business is found liable and you have proper coverage. There could also be compliance penalties or regulatory fines. So if you're not compliant with data protection laws, it might help you pay those fines. What happens if your business is interrupted? We can have business interruption losses or lost income that'll help compensate for income loss due to a cyber incident that disrupts the business operations or the extra expenses to keep your business running after a cyber incident. Cyber extortion is another popular coverage. It can cover ransom demands. If the business is the target of a ransomware attack, the insurance can cover the ransom payment if it's deemed necessary and with the insured consents. Now, here's where I want to take a moment with some bonus content for you. This is not in the blog, so those of you listening, thank you for spending 15 minutes with me. So the pay on behalf clause in cyber insurance is an important feature that provides significant benefits to the insured party in the event of covered cyber incidents. This is not on every policy. We have to look for it, and it's really important. So the pay on behalf clause is a clause that means the insurance company will pay directly the costs associated with a cyber liability claim, rather than reimbursing the insured after they have a paid cost out of pocket. Think about that. If I have an extortion claim or I have something else and it's $100,000, do most clients have $100,000 that they're just able to pull out and be like, here you go, and then wait to be reimbursed if it's deemed necessary? Probably not. So we want to make sure that we're adding this endorsement whenever possible or making sure that this is part of the coverage available to the client. It's also helping the client to be in a better place. I guess that's the wrong phrase. Helping the client avoid being in a worse place because it might offer immediate payment. Upon validation of the claim, the insurance company can step in and directly pay the cost to the respective parties, like law firms, PR firms, IT specialists, etc., that are involved in managing or resolving the cyber incident. You're not having to deal with it up front and then wait to get reimbursed. It can also help reduce the financial burden to the insured by making sure that they have the money they need to cover the loss or to cover the remediation without having to wait for reimbursement. Other advantages can include cash flow. It's especially important for small businesses or medium-sized businesses that might not have enough cash reserves. It allows for faster responses to the incident as the insurer can immediately engage with the services without waiting for the insurer to provide the funds. In some policies, the policy won't react until the solution is paid. The insured has to pay for the solution and then the carrier will reimburse. This takes that away. It also will allow for working with established relationships of experts or resources from the insurance carrier. It's ensuring that we're having the best people or experts handling the incident versus finding somebody online and just hoping it's going to work. It also can simplify the claims process because the complexity is reduced as the insurance carrier is already involved in managing the payments themselves. So what we want to think about is the policy limits and terms. The payments made on behalf of the insured are subject to the policy's limits and the terms of the policy. We have to understand what costs are covered and to what extent. Also requires the carrier's approval. So depending on the policy, there may be stipulations about who selects the service provider, such as legal, IT, or security, and how much control the insured has in this process. Some policies will say, hey, the carrier is going to handle the whole thing. This is what you get. And others will say, oh, you can kind of help us decide. We have to be really careful and understand the terms and conditions. Another thing to look at is just making sure we understand the terms of the policy. So a sample scenario would be something like this. The company is facing a data breach with a pay on behalf cyber liability policy. The insurer would directly handle and pay for the cost of notifying the affected parties, hiring a PR firm, and engaging with legal counsel. The company would not need to pay these costs up front, significantly easing their immediate financial and operational strain. In summary, the pay on behalf clause in the cyber liability insurance helps to offer a proactive approach to managing cyber incidents, providing direct financial support and access to expert services, and thereby easing the burden on the insured during what is often the most critical and stressful time. Some things to think about there. Thank you for allowing me to rant for a moment about that bonus tip, and thank you to Brian for bringing that up to me. If you're listening, Mr. Brian, thank you for helping me with that. So we can go through all of these things and understand what's happening. Another important coverage to look for is repair and recovery. Like, how do we get over something after it happens? We need to cover the data recovery or the cost of recovering or restoring the data that's lost in a cyber attack, for system repairs, what if the computers no longer work or need some repairs, third-party damages, as well as another coverage that most policies provide. It provides protection against third parties who have suffered losses due to a breach in their system or data breach in their system, and crisis management. This could include counseling services if the breach affects employees or customers. It might help counseling or forensic analysis as well. You pay for the investigation to determine the cause and extent of a breach. A couple of other optional coverages we see from time to time is media liability that covers legal issues related to the electronic media content, and cyber deception coverage. It will protect against losses from social engineering and phishing scams. I think phishing scams is extremely common right now. I know of when I was on the agency side, we'd get emails all the time saying, hey, the owner needs you to go to Walgreens and get some Apple gift cards immediately, but don't tell anybody. It's going to be a surprise for the team. Or, can you please update my payroll? Here's my new routing and account number. Sorry, but I'm not able to call you right now to verify. You get all kinds of things in a small to medium-sized business all the time, and sometimes it's hard to tell if it's real or not. So we want to make sure we're looking. Another important part of the process is how do we make the coverages relatable to our clients? How do we really get in and make it relatable? And that's through storytelling. For data breach costs, the story is about Sweetie's Treats. They keep a digital record of its customers' orders and preferences. One day they discovered the system had been hacked and customer data was compromised. They face the daunting task of notifying all affected customers, offering credit monitoring services to protect them from potential fraud, and hiring a PR firm to manage the fallout and restore the bakery's reputation. This is where data breach cost coverage becomes a lifesaver, covering all these expenses and helping Sweetie's Treats regain the sweet standing in the community. So we have a lot of these examples in the blog, and each one of the coverages and a story that goes along with it. The other thing we have to really understand is, how do we secure cyber liability insurance? How do we bind coverage? So this normally starts with the application process. We need to gather the necessary information. Like a little cyber detective, we need to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. We then need to submit it to underwriting, and it goes through the underwriting process, where the wise wizards of the insurance world will use their magical, mystical, analytical tools to decide how risky the risk will be. Think of them as protectors against potential cyber storms. We are trying to protect the client, but they have to protect the carrier as well. We then get to the policy selection and customization. We need to make sure we're choosing the right policy. And this is where us as agents become really valuable, or a valuable advisor. We have a sea of policies to choose from, each with a unique feature and coverage, and we need to protect against cyber hackers. So what we need to really look for is, what do we need to protect against? Does the policy cover that, or is it excluded? And what kind of endorsements does the policy offer? Do we need any customizable upgrades, or is the standard policy as written okay? Just like auto policies, home policies, business owner policies, everything else, there's a lot of times endorsements that get added. And I can tell you right now, friends, under the business owner's policy, the cyber endorsement's not really out. So we also need to be really careful if a client thinks they already have the coverage, to review the contract and make sure it's going to cover what they need it to cover. We can then go back and review and finalize the policy, looking at the policy terms and conditions, and then we have the client pay for the policy. This is our commitment ceremony, where we're like, yes, I want the policy. Here's my signature and here's my money. After the binding process, we want to make sure we also are clear on what the claims process is, or how to file a claim with the carrier, and what kind of risk we need to manage going forward. What kind of risk management is necessary. So all of these things go into the binding process and make for quite the adventure when you are working with our insurance. I want to leave you with one script and a closing thought. So one of my favorites is, we're too small to be a target. What do you think? Is that a common objection in business? We're too small for somebody to target us. And I like to say, many small business owners believe this, but statistics show that small businesses are often targeted precisely because they might lack the robust security measures of larger corporations. In fact, smaller businesses can be more vulnerable and less equipped to deal with the aftermath of a cyber attack. Our cyber liability insurance is tailored for small businesses, offering protection and peace of mind that's both comprehensive and affordable. So we just break it back down and bring it back to facts. What are the facts? The facts are, as a small business, you are more likely to be targeted. And my closing thoughts on this: cyber liability coverage is like protective armor in your client's battle against digital attacks. It's not just a nice to have. In today's world, it's an essential layer of protection. So whether you're talking to a budding entrepreneur, a growing business, or just somebody navigating the digital world, it's worth discussing this vital coverage with them. We want to make sure that we, as well as our clients, are staying safe out in the digital world. Until next time, friend, I look forward to talking with you. If you have any other needs or would like to discuss things further, feel free to reach out to us. We have a lot of great programs available, and you can find us online at agencyperformancepartners.com.